Harlequin Special Releases and HarperAudio present Cowboy Daddy by Susan Mallery. Performed by Tanya Eby. Chapter 1. Your 2 o'clock is a hunk. Ann Baker stared blankly at her assistant. A hunk? Yeah. Heather clutched her notepad to her chest and sagged against the door. Tall, dark, with big brown eyes that could melt you faster than... Her voice trailed off. I assume by the way you're looking at me that you're not happy with the news. Anne fought the urge to bury her face in her hands. It doesn't matter what he looks like. The fact is he's here. What am I supposed to do with him? Talk? Heather grinned. You aren't scared of him, are you? Me? Anne firmly shook her head. Of course not. I've worked with company presidents, relocated Fortune 500 companies, leapt buildings in a single bound. You are scared. Anne sighed. Terrified. Should I send him away? Anne almost wished that was possible. No, that wasn't true. She didn't want to send him away. She desperately wanted to meet Jake Masters. With one phone call and a few carefully chosen words, the man had turned her world upside down. For the past 2 days, she'd thought about nothing but his call. Now he was here, waiting to see her. She'd hoped for a connection, a way to undo the past, but she hadn't thought it would happen like this, or happen this soon. Anne glanced down at the slim gold watch on her wrist. It had been a gift to herself last month, celebrating both the completion of the electronics firm's contract and her birthday. 31. The day had made her think about many things, most of them revolving around her 18th birthday. Funny, less than a month later, Jake Masters called. Had her thoughts been a premonition? She shook her head. Of course not. She thought about the same thing every birthday. She tried not to, of course, but it was inevitable. Anne looked up and forced herself to smile. Is he really a hunk? Heather smiled back. We are talking Heartthrob City, long, lean, and luscious. Anne's forced smile became genuine. You are a wicked woman. It is one of my best qualities. Heather winked. He's pacing back and forth like a caged lion. Do you want me to send him in? Anne's stomach lurched, as if she'd just taken the last heart-stopping drop on a roller coaster. Waiting is only going to make it worse. She drew in a deep breath. All right, here goes nothing. Tell Mr. Masters he can come in. Heather nodded. Her blonde hair bounced with the movement. One hunk, coming right up. The oak door closed quietly behind her. Just keep breathing, Anne told herself. She sat straighter in her chair and rested her hands on the desk. Her fingers shook. She thrust them onto her lap. She touched her hair to make sure it was still neatly smoothed in place, then wished she'd told Heather to give her a couple of minutes. She wanted to freshen her lipstick, to check the mirror for the 100th time and make sure there was nothing in her teeth. She wanted to catch her breath and think about something other than Jake Masters and why he was coming to see her. A knock on the door brought her out of her seat. She straightened, tugged at her suit jacket, and called, Come in. Heather pushed the door open. Mr. Masters to see you, Miss Baker. She stepped back to let the man enter. Anne's heart was already pounding in her chest, but at the sight of the tall, dark-haired man standing in front of her, it leapt into high gear and tried to lodge in her throat. Her palms grew damp. The panic threatening to swamp her had a little to do with the reason for his visit, and a whole lot more to do with the way he was dressed. Boots, jeans, tailored white shirt rolled up to the elbows, and a black Stetson he'd removed when he came to her office. It took all her strength to remain standing. Jake Masters was a cowboy. She avoided cowboys at all costs. Not an easy thing to do in Houston, Texas. It shouldn't matter what he wore or did for a living, she reminded herself. But why did he have to be a cowboy? Would you like me to bring coffee, Mr. Masters? Heather asked. He turned to her assistant. None for me, thanks. His voice was low and controlled, with only the hint of a Texas drawl. He was a native, but not local. Dallas, maybe. When Heather glanced at
Sample complete. Ready to continue?